Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Slow Motion Broadcasting and welcome to the Sim Racers Group Intermediate F4 League. Road America, Wisconsin. One of the greatest road racing circuits in North America. 4 miles of sweeping corners, long straights, dramatic elevation changes make this track where speed and precision live. From the famous kink to Canada Corner, Road America has got it all. Everybody loves a great track with a mix of speeds and cornering styles, but elevation is what truly makes a track special to me, and Road America is a place that will really make you earn that podium. I'm joined by producer Josh Wilkie, working overtime in the truck right now, and the legend Racing Ron Maunz with me up here in the booth. Ron, how much draft can an F4 draft if an F4 could draft?
Yes, all of the above. It is going to be a very draft-heavy race here for this round of the championship. We think about some of the other tracks that we've been at so far here this season. Not a lot of them have featured as much straight line running as we have here. Now, that also comes with the fact that this is one of the longest racetracks on the entirety of the iRacing platform. 4 miles on the dot and only 14 turns across that layout. This track, and when it was designed way back in the day, they knew what they were doing. This is one of my favorites in all of motorsports, and I hope that these drivers will feel less of the love, and I hope they won't be feeling a slight biting sensation that they get from bed bugs.
Well, we're a little bit late on the broadcast here, so I don't think we're going to be able to do a lap here, but your point remains. A lap here is 2 minutes and 9 seconds if you're Damian Dietrich. For everybody else, it's 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So Dietrich just a little bit ahead of Jose Navas Molina, who managed to put up a qualifying time that was very fast, very early. So he's been sitting on that one for a little bit. Damian Dietrich was not present last week, I don't believe, and has let the points standings catch up a little bit. We're going to have Josh Wilkie bring up some of the season standings here as we finish out qualifying. But it looks like Greg Meyer, our Taco Bell car, is in third in qualifying. Ryback, Stasinski, famous names here for the F4 series also. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of those championship points here, Ron.
Yeah, let's have a quick little gander at this. As you mentioned, Damian Dietrich slipping down in the points as a result of some absentee races over the past couple of rounds. It's allowed Henry Ryback to take the points lead as we head into the final 3 races. 146 points is his tally right now. Damian Dietrich is in third at 133. Jacob Guyton is actually in third. Damian Dietrich is in second. Numbers. Guyton right now slotted at 119 points as his current tally, only 5 in front of Greg Meyer in fourth. Brian Stasinski, a race winner already this season, only 4 points back of your P4 runner in P5. Got that? No, neither did I. Jose Navas is in 6th, Matthew Hunter in P7, Bob Eggert is in 8th, Jason Chess in 9th, Christopher Yee completes your top 10. You can see the rest of the drivers lined up there. The drivers like Stevie Ray, Ken Glasser, Dan Clark, J.R. Gregory, Sarah Vase, Pranay Ketanetti, Jason Trantham, Kenny Stepp. The list goes on and on of the multitude of drivers that we've had here in this series, but we've got a new name showing up for the first time here this season. We've got a driver by the name, I believe, of Ben Velton hopping into the Sim Racers Group number 3 car. Of course, some of the drivers here in this series are actually racing at the SRG HQ there in San Jose, California, and it looks like Ben will be one of the latest members. So welcome, Ben, into the SRG F world, and I deeply apologize for any falling anvils that are headed your way.
Oh, they're coming, friend. They are coming. We see a few drivers here cutting that famous Wisconsin grass. That is for dairy cows, not for F4s. The stewards over at the Sim Racers Group there in San Jose, California, had a bit of an issue last race that we didn't even notice. Sometimes when the logins happen and you're on a race car at home or in the studio, you got to make sure that you're logging in under the correct name. So we had, I think, some super secret race car drivers out there, maybe playing some other roles here. The only real note here, as far as the starting grid goes, is that Stevie Ray. Oh, there goes Velton. That is going to put him in the wall. Incidentally, of note, the F4 league does have the damage turned off, So long as you're not stuck in the wall there, you can see the tail fin manage to regenerate itself. That can be an invitation to be a little bit more aggressive, but the stewards do not like that as well. If you want to graduate up to the F3s or next season to the Indy NXTs, you cannot be using the damage being off as a opportunity to wheel bang the person next to you. What I was going to say was Stevie Ray is the only person with a pit start penalty, so he would be starting from the pits, but he has not put a time up. He is on the board, which makes me think that he might be racing tonight and has just elected not to do any qualifying whatsoever.
Hey, I mean, it works out pretty well. Why, kind of work in the middleman of going out there on the racetrack for qualifying? This is certainly a track that Stevie has run at before, Road America. It's a stalwart track when it comes to the Sports Car Club of America, the current host of the SCCA National Championship runoffs every single fall. And it's hosted its fair share of Weekend Warriors and Ray Esports events over the years. I believe one of my first ever Weekend Warriors races was here. My first ever was actually at what I like to call this track's sister, Road Atlanta, down there in Braselton, Georgia, a track that we have visited already here in this campaign. Remember that? It was a very fun show. 57 cars, 57 Spec Racer Fords on one single track and one single race. That's fun when you've only done about 3 or 4 shows in your entire broadcasting career leading up to it, let me tell you in confidence, folks. But as we get towards the end of this session here, I'm seeing one thing right now here, James. Despite the fact that this track is massive, 4 miles in length and 2-minute-long lap times, we're seeing some comparatively close qualifying times. You see just a tick over a tenth of a second between Damien Dietrich and Jose Navas. At a track this massive, you think about that in terms of percentage, that'd be like, a half a tenth on some of the other tracks that we've been at this season.
Yeah, you're measuring things in nanometers at that point. When you're driving 4 miles and you're a tenth off the guy in front of you. To your point there, we have as qualifying just is wrapping up here, we have times that are 2 minutes and 10 seconds all the way down to Dan Clark in 7th, who just missed it by a tenth himself. So very, very tight times here between the top 10 there. It looks like Dietrich is going to be your pole sitter for tonight. So the former points leader is coming back to form on this one. And then we have Jose Navas Molina and Stasinski, another very popular name here for the F4 series, managing to come back strong here and putting himself on the second row, along with maybe the most popular racer in all of the Sim Racers group, Greg Meyer, with the Taco Bell car. There it is. Okay, we caught Josh sleeping a little bit here in the chat.
No, that was entirely intentional. That right there was to add in suspense.
And didn't it do a fantastic job? The chat going crazy right now with the bong.
God bless America.
Yep, he's got a crew that loves this kind of stuff. So there's a bit of a gap here before we get up to speed in Wisconsin. What are we looking for tonight, Ron? What do we think we're going to see out of this particular group?
Anxiety, I think, will probably be the main key, especially here on lap 1. But we're going to see these drivers try and go through this race in as consistent of a manner as they can. There may only be 14 turns around this track, but they're all pretty tough. So this is going to be one of the more challenging races that these drivers tackle throughout this season. But let's bring it by taking a look at your starting grid, James.
All right, Damien Dietrich at the top, next to Jose Navas Molina. Your second row is Stasinski, Meyer. Third row is Ryback and Hunter. Dan Clark, another fan favorite here, 7th. With Eggert, Bob Eggert's having a great tail end to this season in 8th. Sarah Bays in 9th. Ken Glasser in 10th. Walker Foltz 11th. Pranay Ketneni is going to be in number 12 there as we scroll down. Tyler Hagen, one of the stewards of the F3 League, is there in 13. Cy Nathan in 14. Rudy Samudio, 15. Ken Eastep, number 16. Newcomer Ben Velton, 17, along with Stevie Ray, who I believe will be starting from the pit. We are getting lined up here. We're going to be looking for the lights. Cars are revving engines. It's going to be a fun race tonight in Wisconsin. So I am looking forward to this one greatly here, Ron. And think we can hear the engine starting to rev up as everybody starts to get onto the line here. And when we see the lights, we are going to know that we are 5 lights and ready to go in Road America. Look for the draft on the first lap to cause some difficulties in the first couple turns, but because it will take a full lap for these cars to get their tires warmed up. It's not quite as bad as the F3s, but definitely a challenge here. So this is your Intermediate League Sim Racers Group F4 is brought to you by Slow Motion Broadcasting. This is fine. This is fine. Who is that in the 444 there? That is Damian Dietrich with a new livery there. So that's the guy that put up the fast time with a brand new livery, and that looks great, actually. Jose Navas Molina with his famous purple livery there. And there is your lights, folks. We're going to go 5 and then green flag. Lights out, drop the clutch. We are racing in Scotty. All right, Damian Dietrich off to a very good start. Jose Navas Molina right behind him, though, then a bit of a gap. So Navas Molina sometimes gets into some incidents. He is not afraid to push it, and he is going to try to make a move here on turn 1. They are side by side, and they're going to go into turn 1 side by side. It looks like Navas Molina makes discretion the better part of valor there, which was a smart play. It's actually looking incredibly clean. They're starting to line up here and come around. And there is contact right there. That is unfortunate. That is Walker Fultz. Is that I'm not sure. It was Hunter and Eggert, it looks like, made the contact there. That is going to be tough, and that's going to take out quite a bit of the field there behind them. So now the leaders are starting to get a pretty solid gap here. Ron, pretty tight here as Meyer decides to try to make it around the outside. Doesn't quite get it on Navas Molina.
Yeah, so an incident hammering a door wedge in between your top 4 and the rest of the field, but this top 4 fight is still alive and kicking. Damian Dietrich, the whole punch, side by side, Ryback Meyer as they head their way into the second sector, about to head their way off through the carousel for the very first time. This could be where the gaps start to spread out once again. Brian Szynski looking to try and bridge the gap between himself and the pack that he found himself in and that top 4. I think he's already doing so right now, pulling to within a second of Greg Meyer there in 4th. Could very easily reel in that gap just a little bit more as he heads his way down this back flat out blast through the forest, heading off into Canada Corner. But Damian Dietrich right now has one thing on his mind, and that is to try and pull a comfort zone. Right now, only half a second clear of Navas, heading his way off into Canada Corner. That is a somewhat comfortable gap if you're driving around here, you know, on tortoise back, but not really if you're running around in an F4 car. That could disappear in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, Meyer is all over Ryback right now, but Szynski is trying hard to keep this within 1 second. And if he can do that, he's going to be able to catch up to these guys and at least make this a race. I don't know whether or not, it looks like Dan Clark and Sarah Vase are getting pretty close to each other here, but yeah, it looks like Clark is falling down. Clark must have gone off a little bit, or at least it's that tight. I think what we're going to see is a pretty significant gap between the leaders and the rest of the field, and Szynski has a choice right now as to which one he wants to be a part of, and it looks like he wants to be a part of the lead pack. Pulled it into a half second there. Road America, like you said, the draftiest draft to ever draft. This is a place where you do not want to lose the leaders, and Szynski is right there. You look at that gap, Szynski half a second, and then Cervez now 4 seconds behind there. So they really, really need to keep this pack going here, but it looks like Navas Molina has now put a second and a half away from Ryback.
Yeah, so a small little wedge being drawn between your top 2 and your final driver on the podium right now as Ryback slowly but surely falling into the clutches of Greg Meyer and Brian Szynski. Szynski, a Formula V veteran, knows what it's like to try and stay with it here, so keep an eye on that as we go throughout this race. As we take a look at what happened, Dan Clark going for the dive there on Matthew Hunter.
Oh.
There's a contact being made heading into turn number 3. Unfortunate there, but this is a very narrow track. It's easy for something like that to go down.
So that was Dan Clark, unfortunately, put his nose on the inside of this one. I think probably that one is on Clark, I would say. Clark went on the inside of this thing and tried to do the braking. It is tough on lap 1 when you have a gap like that and you want to try to get there. But I don't know. The stewards will take a close look at that one. Here we have Dan Clark right there. Hunter, I'm sure, wished that did not happen that way. Hunter definitely did leave him room, though, so who knows how that one will play out. That's the advantage of being a steward, is you can look at it a million times, whereas me as a broadcaster, I'm just going to call it live on the air, and then someone's going to live with how I feel about it, which is not great. Here we have Bob Eggert here, and Eggert is in the blue, the blue and yellow, I believe, right there, right? Eggert is going to try to make a move around the outside there. It looks like they're going 3 wide in here. Oh, goodness. Oh. that is close. That is as close as it gets in an F4, but credit to iRacing and the lack of netcode on that one. Managed to be incredibly close here. Here we have a pass here. It looks like Stasinski getting past Meyer here. Meyer falling back just a little bit. And look at that racing, though. That is solid racing out of Stasinski and Meyer to be able to take that kind of speed into those corners and both keep all the grip and manage to leave each other room. So nice work on that one. Looks like Damian Dietrich here, Ron, that we're going to be following for a little bit.
Yeah, I think Damian Dietrich right now doing everything he needs to do in his series return, being the hole punch. Doesn't need to go for all-out glory in the final few weeks, just needs to put together a good, strong run, claw back that gap there in the points. With those missing weeks, not only does that hurt him when it comes to the total points gained here, any sort of drop rounds that may come into effect could spell disaster for him as well, because all the rounds that he was absent for, those are going to work as draft rounds, as his drop rounds, pardon me. So it's really going to hurt him in the points. So Damian Dietrich just looking to try and fight for the crown here at the end of the season. This will be an interesting, little storyline as we head our way out of this season of F4 action and go into the inaugural season of the Sim Racers Group Next Championship in the brand new Indy Next cars just next season in about a month's time. We'll see the debut of those cars. So these drivers are going to be in for quite the transition. I gotta say, if there's any time to show yourself as a strong contender here in these F4s so you can make the step up into the next league, it's probably now with Dietrich running wide heading out of the final turn. He may be feeling some pressure from Navas real quick.
And Stasinski went super wide too. So up there we have it. Oh, Navas trying to get by, and it looks like I'm surprised that Dietrich doesn't have a slowdown or something. But Dietrich was running significantly slower from the bad exit off of that last one, running into a long straight, and Navas just simply could not find a way around him. Ended up with a little wheel-to-wheel contact there. Lucky they didn't have some sort of blowout. The damage is off for these F4s, like we said, but here we have Dietrich here going a little bit wide, and you're going to see it happen here. Just a little too much speed going into this one. Back end, not quite grabbing it, cuts some grass. Navas with a great exit, and now the draft, so he's going significantly faster. We're gonna follow Dan Clark here a little bit, and Clark, Clark got an off track for that. Okay. Oh no, Clark got an off track for that. Sorry about that. That one is where he got the off track. That one, indisputable, and then took a little speed over there. But yeah, you get on the outside, Ron, here, and that starts to get a little tough to go down that long straight after you don't have that speed.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Unfortunately, Brian Stasinski learning that lesson the hard way as he ran wide, heading his way out of the final turn, going side by side with himself and Greg Meyer. Going to lose that on a little bit of time there in that number 84 car, as I believe there may have been some drama here with Pranay Ketaneni here in the number 39, side by side, heading down into turn number 5, and contact made with the number 25. That right there was Bob Eggert on the inside. Unfortunately, contact being made, and more contact there. That was I don't believe that was, well, Cy Nathan, we'll take a look at his perspective in all of this here. Nathan running wide, and yes, it was. Oh, that is the falling anvil for the both of them. Nathan thinking, oh, now I've overcooked this. I'm going to catch the gravel. Nope, you're going to catch a nose cone.
Yep, there was unfortunately a landmine sitting out there in the gravel for him. I don't know about that contact. That was really close. The stewards will have to take a look at that one. That was tough. Just the slightest amount of contact, though, when you're on the limit like that with these cars, and you will lose that back end. Here we have Stevie Ray with a move on the inside here. Look at Stevie Ray go. Oh no, Stevie Ray's on the outside. I'm sorry, and managed to make that stick despite having a little bit of the off track there. I'm not even sure if that is an off track to be out there. I haven't seen a lot of that. Haven't seen a slowdown, that's for sure. We had plenty of those in the American Muscle Series out at Zolder. This will be Ben Velton here. Ben Velton, a newcomer to the F4s. And yep, that one is what happens. Oh boy. Poor guy. Our producer, Josh Wilkie, is apologizing for firing that one up. Mr. Velton, we do apologize. You stay strong out there and give it a good old college try, even with or without a nose cone.
No, that was the evidence of me giving Ben Velton the first commentator jinx falling anvil to come from yours truly. So I do apologize about that, Ben. I will choose to keep my mouth shut, which
Ron,
especially for me is a heck of a lot easier said than done.
Ron, we've got racing here at the top here. We've got a 0.2 second gap here between Dietrich and Navas Molina.
Yeah, that it is. Jose Navas not allowing Damian Dietrich to get away number one, not allowing him to have any form of comfort up on the front. He is right on the back of him, kind of sort of like a cat playing with a mouse before he eats it. You can tell that he's applying that pressure, getting into the head of Damian Dietrich and getting a mighty run, heading his way down Kettle Bottoms into Canada Corner, looking for it down the inside. Battle-less late breakers. Dietrich going to get to the apex first, but Jose Navas really getting into the brain, into the cranium of that driver, the 444 car right up in front.
Yeah, and you can see that Dietrich was able to get a good exit out of that one, whereas Navas Molina was trying so hard to make that move, had a fairly poor exit. So Navas Molina, a racer that I've raced with quite a bit, this guy is not afraid to make a move in almost any corner. So you're going to see if he manages to pull within 0.2 as the race goes on. We are 11 minutes into a 20-minute race. You're going to start to see some dives here. Navas Molina is going to not accept a second place here. He is going to look for a win, no doubt in my mind. However, Dietrich, a solid racer here, so you might have to see a mistake out of Dietrich, which we have seen tonight, in order to have Navas Molina be able to pull him in and actually make that move.
Yeah, and riding on board with Jose Navas as he heads his way down the moraine sweep into turn number 5. The speeds are high and the tension is too here at this track. Doubly so, considering that after this, we're only going to have 2 more races left to go here this season, James. And you consider the worry and the fear and the anxiety that's going to be felt next week. We're going to be heading to Lime Rock. Not the first time that we've been there, but we're going to be racing on the loud with the chicanes, which are bad enough in the dry, but we're going to be running in the rain as well. That is not even a 1-2 punch. That's a 1-2-3 punch for these drivers. So the stress is going to be looming over them like a storm cloud, thinking about next week. But right now, speaking of 1-2-3, we've got a battle for those spots right now. Henry Ryback, rather quietly here, has been able to get himself involved in this fight. Now, is he there? No, but he is there. 9/10 of a second, the gap between himself and Jose Navas in that battle for second. If the two up in front of Dietrich and Navas Molina start to squabble up, who knows, maybe Ryback will finally stick his nose into that fight, and we could have a 3-pronged battle for the race lead on our hands as we get into the second half. I've seen stranger things, and I don't even have a Netflix account.
I think that we are guaranteed to see that, and I don't think that's going to be strange at all. Lovely reference to that, by the way. Ryback is a second back. If he can make that 0.8, you're going to see him reel in Navas Molina in a heartbeat. Navas Molina is racing about as hard as this F3 set of tires can handle right now. They're putting up very, very good times. Dietrich cannot shake Navas Molina due to the layout of Road America and just the engine power of these F4s. They just don't have enough to really stretch this thing. The draft is strong enough that you can see right here, like Navas Molina continually gets opportunities to pull it in. Dietrich's just running a better line right now, and you're going to see this sort of accordion type of thing. We're at 0.1. Navas Molina going to make a move right here. It looks like on, I believe this is going to be he has got the inside line here coming into this corner, so we're going to see it happen. They are tight. Novice Molina, and oh my goodness, Novice Molina is inside the wheel well of Dietrich there, and Novice Molina does make the move. Dietrich gets a great exit though, and he's going to be able to pull a little bit of draft. We're going to get into a few tight corners here, but like we said, this is Road America. Ron, there is time for Dietrich to get behind Novice Molina and make this thing happen.
And so looking right now, Dietrich looking for it down the inside as he heads his way off into turn number 8. Still close there. This is a fantastic little battle that we've got going on right now here for first and second. In less than a tenth of a second there, Dietrich looking to get a little bit of clean air on that front nose as he heads his way around the outside of the carousel. Not able to get the move done there, but he's going to be in the draft. Get a mighty run heading his way down the back end of this racetrack here at the National Park of Speed, building the speed as they head their way into the braking zone of turn number 10. Through into Canada corner right now. Dietrich looking for it. It's close to contact once more. These drivers, I can't even say, are playing with fire. They're doing jumping jacks in front of a firing squad as Dietrich still looking for it. Now got to hold on to the inside as he heads his way through turn number 12 and will finally get the move done. But Navas going to come back on him again heading into the final turn. This is gripping stuff between these drivers as look at that. Henry Ryback, just as a result of all that battling, he is there and he's going to look for it on Navas.
Yeah, this is not a great spot for a pass here, though. This is going to be a very difficult spot to make a pass for Ryback. But like we said, Ryback was the beneficiary of some tight racing out of those two. Managed to just run a clean line here. And look at this. We've now got, I think Ryback is clean into second here after this inside run here. No, maybe not. It's going to be side by side with Novice Molina, and it looks like Novice Molina does manage to keep his second place. Ryback decides that maybe he'll have a better opportunity here, and he probably honestly will. These drafts are incredibly strong. You saw Novice Molina get ahead of Dietrich, and then Dietrich just maintain a good line, stay right behind him, and pick the moment. There's like 5 or 6 good spots to pass, and then there's about 9 or 10 if you're these guys. Oh, and there we go! And it is off track. Dietrich and Ryback make contact, and it's a battle of who can get back on the track first. I don't think those guys checked their mirrors at all getting back on the track. They managed to have enough of a gap to make it happen, but that was gonna be rough. We are gonna have to look at that one again. Greg Meyer now into second. Meyer's looking at this one, sees it happen. They both go off. Meyer manages to dodge a bullet with a terrible re-entry from Dietrich. Dietrich probably should have stayed there. Here we go with Ryback. Ryback is behind Novice Molina. Ryback just sends it right into Dietrich. That one is going to be on Ryback all day long here. So we're going to look at this one more time here. This is on board with Ryback. Just brake zone optional. Not what we're looking for in there. We're on.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He was taking too shallow of an approach to really make the turn as is, add in a little bit too much speed into the midst of that, and it is game, set, match. It is tragic for the two of them, our main championship rivals here in this series. Certainly going to sting for Dietrich as he tries to try and gain anything that he can get back side by side with himself and Greg Meyer as they head their way down the back straightaway off into Canada corner. We'll keep on this shot here for a couple of moments and just briefly listen into the sights and sounds here at Road America. Take a quick little step aside here in the broadcast booth. Yes, as we keep our eye on this action right now, Jose Nava still up in the front. We've got battles still throughout this field here, James. One that's kind of keeping my attention is this one. Josh in the production truck reading my mind. You can tell we've been doing these shows together for too long. It's Sarah Vase looking down the inside of Brian Szynski in this battle for 5th.
Yeah, Stasinski probably looking to have a little bit better race here. Oh, that's going to be the end of that fight for a little bit. Sarah Vase tests out the kitty litter on the outside of that corner. Just some crazy fighting going on here. But the off tracks with the speed coming into corners like Canada Corner, just too much sometimes for some of these racers. And you're racing hard and with an F4, and a 20-minute race, is going to make those tires a little bit hot. And sometimes you really feel the effects of that. We're getting down to the last lap here, I believe, as they come around. This is going to be our last lap. Looking at Hunter here, and Hunter you can just kind of tell he's got a lot of speed there. Yep, and that's going to do it. Just manages to get past, I believe that is, oh no. Oh. Yeah, Glasser. That's Glasser there, and that's the end for Glasser. Let's go back up to the front here. We got Novice Molina. Novice Molina is going to be, where is Novice Molina on the track right now? He is just passing start-finish, so this is going to be a white flag for Novice Molina, who has managed to put a 2.5 on Greg Meyer, who's got ahead of Dietrich again, but Dietrich is 0.1 behind Meyer, so that's going to be a fight there for second place. It looks like that's really going to be where the battle is. Novice Molina might be able to pull this thing off cleanly here, so that would be a heck of a win for him.
Yeah, that it absolutely would do. Jose Navas throughout to this campaign has been, a very strong driver. I say this with very big air quotes. He's kind of the elder statesman here in this F4 league. He's been around the block before. He knows how these drivers function. He knows how these cars function as well. We have a little battle going on right now. Greg Meyer, Damian Dietrich squabbling up for the final 2 podium spots, and Meyer gonna punch his way up there in the Taco Bell machine, but still not over. Heading their way out of turn number 6 through 7 right now into 8. Damian Dietrich really with the fight back after a couple of weeks away from this series and some trouble earlier on. He wants to prove that everything is fine here in this 444 machine, as he's now going to be on the outside heading off through the carousel. That's bold.
Yes, that is bold, I would say. That is a spicy meatball. We're going to have a fight. This is going to be a fight right to the absolute very end here. And Jose Navas Molina has managed to stay at a solid pace here with 1.4 while the fighting goes on behind him. And he loves to see it. He absolutely loves to see it because it's not going to threaten him. But boy, the fight for second and third here. Get the trees out of the way. We want to see what's going on here. Dietrich manages to get ahead of Meyer here. Meyer, oh man, it's 0.3. I don't know if he's going to have it left here. We've got like 2 turns left. We got 1 turn left here for Meyer, and he is not going to do it. It is going to be Dietrich unless he blows this corner. Nope, Dietrich. Oh! Nope, Meyer blew it even worse. Dietrich is going to manage to get second. Jose Navas Molina is going to be your winner tonight at Road America, followed by Damian Dietrich in second place, Greg Meyer in third place. Following that will be Henry Ryback, and then we get Stasinski, followed by Vase.
And now we can breathe. What a race that we just got treated to here at Road America. I'll tell you what here, James, and this is honest. There's a reason why I adore this racetrack. Doesn't matter what kind of car you have running around here, it is always going to put on a show. We might have a little show coming towards a stripe between Walker Folt and Stevie Ray. Here they come. About a quarter of a second between those drivers there at the end. But again, it doesn't matter whether it's here in the F4s. We've seen the F3s put on some good shows here, Formula Vs, Formula Fords, Spec Racer Fords, even in the Radical SR10s, this truck puts on some brilliant action. Hey, Road America, I like the fact that this is the one that has the American name on it. This is a track that we should be proud of.
Absolutely. Another guy that's probably pretty proud of the way that he raced was Stevie Ray. Stevie Ray up 7 spots, going to be the hard charger for the day. Not a bad performance considering he started from the pit. Had a penalty from some incident points, I would imagine. Did a pit start, didn't qualify at all. Came out here, managed to put himself in 11th place. So solid race out of Stevie Ray there. Everybody else was pretty close with the exception of Tyler Hagan to where they started. Tyler Hagan also an impressive performance, up 5 spots. And I think, honestly, Ron, if you kept it on the track, and had good exits out of some of these corners to be able to keep that speed in the long straights, you were going to be able to put some decent times up and climb your way up the charts here.
Yeah, I talked about a little bit earlier on in this broadcast, right before we grabbed the green flag here, how there may not be a whole lot of turns around this racetrack. He only had to circumnavigate about 140 of them in the case of Jose Navas, 14 for 10 laps. But they really do pack a punch. I mean, you think about the heavy braking zones, your turn 1s, turn 5s, your turn 12s in the form of Canada Corner. You think about some of the longer turns where you're definitely testing the mechanical grip a whole lot. You have to think about turns number 7, turns 8, really just the entire middle sector, the carousel for sure. This is a track that tests everything about a car, everything about a driver, and if you can rise to acclaim here, you have thoroughly earned it. And certainly these podium finishers have earned it, but Jose Navas earning the victory here in round number 10 of this season. I'm going to hit the books to let you all know this exact stat here as he just mutters, draws, and stalls here. That's his first win this season since Miami in the opening round of the championship.
Wow, that is a hot minute up, and there goes the back end, and there goes the front end. So Navas
there goes the back end for Meyer.
Not super familiar with the donuts. I mean, he's not up on the podium every week, but he certainly earned this one. This was a tremendous race out of him, and managed to pull off a very convincing win with a 2.5 lead. Especially, there's the bell for third place, Greg Meyer. You got to do it. So let's look at our finish here. We bring the points up here. Points are coming here. The Navas Molina, a veteran to the F4 league. It's good to see him every now and then pull off a win like this. But that last lap really proved it. There was a lot of fighting behind him, but he just ran it clean and did a very, very good job there. So congratulations to Jose Navas Molina as we bring up our final finishing stats here for the race. Here we go. Number 1, racing out of Spain, was Jose Navas Molina. And second place, Damien Dietrich. Third, Greg Meyer. Fourth, Henry Ryback. Then Stasinski, Vase, Eggert. Eighth was Hagen. Then Hunter, Walker Fultz, Stevie Ray, the hard charger. Impressive race out of him. Pranac Ketaneni in 12th. Cy Nathan 13. Rudy Samudio 14. Ben Velton, newcomer, 15. Ken Estep 16. Glasser, then Dan Clark. I think there was a few more racers here if we scroll down, but maybe not. Dan Clark might have been it actually at 18. So that's going to be it. That was a very good race, Ron. I really enjoyed that. We're going to be getting the interviews up here, but we can probably take a look at some of the, I guess we wouldn't have the championship points quite yet, would we, Ron?
Yeah, no, that may be a little bit early, at least to get them up here on the other broadcast graphics. There's a little bit of pitter-pattering that has to go down here, but I can just once again mutter draws here and just say to all of you tuning into this broadcast, if you have enjoyed tonight's action here on Slow Motion Broadcasting, we should probably hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified every single time that we go live here on the channel, whether it be action in the Sim Racers group, the Extreme Motorsports GT3 Championship, Ray Esports, the American Muscle Series that we had earlier on tonight. Doesn't matter, we have got you covered night in and night out here on the channel. And I don't believe the results have fully tabulated and updated from my perspective here. I'm still seeing them at the end of last week's race, but I will still keep an eye on that as we go throughout this. And hey, I stalled for just enough time that, James, we have now got a driver waiting room packed full of drivers currently stealing all of our snacks.
That's right. So we need to get him out of that room immediately. I'm going to drag Jose Navas Molina into the booth here. Jose Navas Molina, congratulations, Road America. It was a tough fight out there, but you managed to pull it off and had a very impressive last lap while the fighting happened behind you. How'd you feel tonight?
Well, my heart rate's still elevated, man. That was a tough one.
Yeah, the track conditions were pretty good out there for you. What were some of the corners that you felt pretty good about tonight?
Well, I think corner 5 it tends to be very tricky. I was okay with it. Corner 1 was also I felt pretty confident. I knew I could take a couple of different lines, which I took advantage of it to try to get close to Demian a couple of times. But I really struggled with the last corner, so it was hard for me to try to do anything on the front straight. He always had a better exit than me, except when he made a mistake.
Yeah, we actually made mention of that. You were able to reel him in a few places, but that last corner there, sometimes he would get a good exit, and it really made it hard for you to get a good pass in before the very end of the straight into turn 1. But you ran a great race and had a good line and managed to leave him behind at the end. So. What do you think was your biggest challenge as far as the other racers go? You saw quite a few of them between Ryback, Meyer, and Dietrich out there.
Well, for me, it was stay calm. Like, even though I said that my heart rate was really high, the problem is when I'm up there on the podium positions, I start trying to get too nervous, too aggressive, and then I start making like silly mistakes. In fact, like on the last 2 laps, I made like a couple of small mistakes. I was actually my last 2 laps, I think, were a second slower than the rest of the race. And it was mainly for that, because it's like, okay, just be calm, and then it just kind of loses concentration towards the end of the race. It was a bit tough on our end. It's like, man, this track is so long. Why are the laps so long?
Yeah. I mean, it was a 2-minute and 10-second lap, right? you did have the benefit of Dietrich and Ryback getting in an accident and managed to see enough of that coming that you ran clear of it. So congratulations on a great race and well done. Enjoy the champagne on the podium for this one. Is there anybody that you want to thank or shout out to any sponsors before we let you go?
Yeah, thank you very much. Of course, I'm gonna thank my wife. So she's taking care of the baby while I am racing. And in fact, we are actually catching a plane tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. So she has been doing most of the packing. So I really appreciate her for doing that. Just as a joke, I'm gonna thank Henry for taking Demian out.
Hang on, I just realized they're both up there in the driver interview waiting room right now, so that's got to be a very fun conversation. What I wouldn't give to be a fly in the wall over there.
We'll make sure to pass on your thanks to them. Congratulations, Jose. Enjoy the evening, and you better get back over there and help her pack.
Yep. Thank you very much, guys. See you in a couple of weeks.
Take care. That was Jose Navas Molina, your race winner there. Ron, who would you like to talk to?
I love stirring the shiitake mushrooms. Let's have a quick little chat here with Henry Ryback, who really showed some good pace here in this race. Unfortunately, things were not meant to be. Henry Ryback joining us here in the broadcast booth. Henry, welcome in, my friend. Showed some really strong pace here at Road America. How was it out there?
It was good for the most part until I started braking too late and hit Demian, which I did not mean to do. Okay, I did not want to do that. I wanted to overtake him in a more fair way, to say it.
Yeah, certainly the case there. That braking zone heading into turn number 5 is super tough. You're going downhill. It kind of lures you into a false sense of security heading down there as well. It's like looking at your bed after a long day thinking it's going to be cool, and then it's strangely hot. That's basically what it's like heading into turn number 5. But it still worked out all right for you. Walk away with a P5 result here in this race. How did you enjoy this track? Because Road America is one where I feel like drivers either love it or kind of hate it with a burning passion.
I've been trying to like it. I think it's okay now. Once I kind of started getting the laps down and starting to close down on Demian in 1 lap pace. But yeah, I thought it was gonna be easy to be consistent, which it kind of was for the first 15 minutes. But then the incident points started stacking up, and I hit Demian and all that. So yeah.
Yeah, but still a good run for you here in this race, and I'll tell you what, man. No need to beat yourself up too much about that incident. Stuff happens, and it's a very easy mistake to make. I've made it many times before. I remember one time running an MX5 race at Okayama, the track in Japan, and I hit the Alt F4 button when I realized that I left the braking way too late and was about to bowl into about 17 drivers heading into the next turn. So nobody is by any means immune to that, and you are a very fast driver here in this series. I do want to ask you about Lime Rock in 1 week's time. Not only are we going to be back on the track that we ran a little bit earlier on here in this campaign, we're going to be running on a slightly different layout and with rain in the picture as well. That is going to be a pretty wild race. What are your thoughts heading there?
I'm feeling good as long as Jason Chess is not up my bottom again. I feel like with rain, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but also Brazil proved, to me at least, that I'm quite okay with rain. So I'm gonna do like every other race. Keep it cool, keep it patient, and just try to gain positions by other people's mistakes.
Yeah, we'll certainly keep an eye out for you for the next round of the championship, Henry. Thank you for joining us here in the broadcast booth. And before we let you go and celebrate this run, we'll let you give any thank yous or shout outs.
I will give a thank you to Demian for being so nice when I said sorry to him a bunch of times now before in the waiting room. He's such a just respectable and nice driver, and it's so fun racing him.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, y'all put on a show when the battling was still going on, and looking forward to many more battles in the future. Henry, thank you for joining us. Well done on the P5, and we will see you in 1 week's time when the series rocks up to Lime Rock Park.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And that right there was Henry Ryback, our P5 finisher. You know, I had a little funny joke I was going to make about Lime Rock, but my brain completely forgot it. ADHD kicking me squarely in the teeth. James, I'll pass the mic off to you.
Your brain missed the break zone of that joke.
Oh, my brain missed the braking zone about 22 years ago.
Let's pull in Damian Dietrich. Damian Dietrich was truly the class of the field as far as pace goes. Damian, you ran a great race. You had an unfortunate incident with Henry Ryback, who has apologized now, I think, to you, to Jose, to me, to God, to anyone that will listen to him at this point. Just a tragic incident. You got back on the track and did some work and managed to pull off a very impressive finish for this race. So how did it feel out there?
Yeah, I don't know. I come back from a vacation, so I had like 2 weeks of no racing at all. So I came back Saturday and had to get into it. Yeah, it's a pretty slippery track, so I had a lot of issues getting the corners right. But yeah, apparently my pace was enough to stay up front, but I think at some point Jose would have got me.
Well, this is a track that we've made a ton of mention of the draft. It's just very, very difficult to lose a person at Road America. You can get great exits on the corners, but unless you're able to put more than a second away and bury them that way, they're just going to be your friend forever, because those long straights will keep them there. And frankly, the racing between you guys for the vast majority of this race was excellent racing. Jose definitely tried about 37 different moves to get by you, and every now and then would, but you wouldn't leave him alone and managed to keep right on his tail on this one. So was there a particular section of the track that you felt very comfortable with that gave you a bit of an edge on this one with your pace?
I think the one which gave me an edge was also the scariest one. It was the corner after Henry bumped me. It was like over the hill, and I think if you get it right, you get so much time in. But if you just mess it up, you spin, as I did once.
We saw a lot of drivers put the rear of the car into the gravel, and that was very difficult because when you do that, like you said, you know, if you don't spin it, you get a bad exit, and then you're looking down a straight of trying to build speed back up in these F4s, which is very difficult, and leave the opportunity for somebody else to come in there. So congratulations on a great race, and you know, and further points up there. Are you looking to try to seal this thing out and win the entire thing with the championship?
Yeah, I hope I can still manage. Next week will be a race, like a rain race. I'm not good in a rain. Like this season I had my first rain race, so yeah, let's see. I'll try my best. Let's see how the championship looks in the end. I'll do my best. Like I had 2 weeks of vacation, but I do not plan to skip one heartbeat on the racetrack from now on.
Well, get your practice in on the rain, because a certain Henry Ryback feels pretty good about rain races, and it is going to be difficult. That's for sure. And like they say, rain is the great equalizer. So somebody like yourself at the top of the pace and at the top of the championship points does not love to see anything referred to as the great equalizer. So. Congratulations for tonight, at least. Enjoy the champagne. And is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, definitely my wife. I think this was the first time she was here when I had my race. So she was my cheerleader, and I love her.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations. Have a great evening to you and her, and we will see you next week.
Okay. Take care, guys. Bye.
That was Damian Dietrich, and you can look at him at the top of the charts here as far as the F4 season goes, the Intermediate League. It's getting tight up there, though. There's a lot of very good racers. Ryback's up there now. Novice Molina wants to put his name in the mix. We didn't see Jacob Guyton tonight. He has definitely been up in that conversation as well, but this was an excellent evening of racing. Let's take a look at what is coming up on the Slow Motion Broadcasting Network here. We've got the F3s at Zandvoort on the 19th. The Ray Esports series will be going to Navarra. The Muscle Series. I've done 2 weeks in a row of the Muscle Series. I'm getting pretty familiar with these guys. They're going to be at Sebring. Lime Rock, which Ron mentioned, going to be a rain race, potentially a rain race. You know, a season ago in the F4s, there was nothing but rain races. We haven't seen a real good one. So this could be it for the F4 League for the Sim Racers group. Sim Racer F3s will be at Barber, one of my personal favorite courses with that corkscrew that goes down and you just have to yeet yourself off of a cliff. Long Beach will be where the Ricmotech GT3 Challenge will be on the 27th. And the 30th Ray Esports will be going to Brands Hatch, my father's favorite racetrack. Raced Brands Hatch in like 69, I believe. And the American Muscle Series will be going to Barber as well. Oh boy, those guys are good luck with that corkscrew there, guys. You're going to enjoy it. All right, Ron, thank you very much for joining me up here in the booth. Let's hear your final thoughts on this F4 race today.
Well, I've got some final news. I looked into it, and unfortunately, we can't get the other graphics updated in time. I'm just going off of the scoring system that this series uses. We enter the final 2 races of the season with 7 points as the gap between Damian Dietrich and Henry Ryback. So if you didn't have a reason to tune into the rest of this season, you do now, because this is going to be a fantastic, thrilling championship battle before we round off the season in style in 2 weeks' time there in the California sun of Laguna Seca.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is going to be tight. And those guys both really would like this thing. They really want to put their name up in the plaque in San Jose, California at the Sim Racers Group headquarters there. So that is going to be it for us here at the Slow Motion Broadcasting Network. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and help out our boss, Josh Wilkie, here in the truck. Thank you very much for watching our production of the Sim Racers Group F4 League. On behalf of my colleague, Ron Maunz, and the aforementioned Josh Wilkie, working overtime in the track, my name is James McDonald, wishing you happy hairpins and clear straights.